governor of Texas called for the leaders of his state's energy board to resign on Tuesday night, as 5 million people in the state were left shivering without power amid a record-breaking. Texas is the only state in the lower 48 with its own electrical grid, ERCOT, while only two other grids, the Eastern Interconnection and the Western Interconnection, serve the rest of the contiguous. The state opted to run its own power system due to suspicion of the federal authorities, the Austin American-Statesman explained. Greg Abbott, the Republican governor, on Tuesday announced an investigation into ERCOT, and rounded on the leaders, several of whom, it emerged, did not even. The Electric Reliability Council of Texas has been anything but reliable over the past 48 hours, said Abbott in a statement. Far too many Texans are without power and heat for their homes as our state faces freezing temperatures and severe winter weather. This is unacceptable. Almost 4 million homes in the state were without power. 10 people are known to have died as a result of Winter Storm Uri, some in traffic accidents, some from fires sparked by attempts to keep warm, and at least 2 homeless people from the cold. Shocked Texans suffered some of the coldest days in living memory, with temperatures falling as low as -2 Fahrenheit in Dallas, marking only the 5th time on record that the temperature was. Yet Texas produces more crude oil and natural gas than any other state. It also generates more electricity than any other state, with production rates almost twice those as Florida, the second highest electricity producing state. Natural gas-fired power plants generated 40% of Texas electricity in 2020, according to ERCOT. The largest singles wind turbines were second at 23%, followed by coal at 18% and nuclear at 11%. Texans were asking how their energy-rich state could be so swiftly left without. Share this article. Share gas. Natural gas accounts for a significant percentage of household heating. More than a third of Texas households rely on natural gas as their primary heating fuel, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, EIA. Experts say that much of the problem in Texas was down to natural gas. Half of the state's power plants also use natural gas to produce electricity. Texas is a gas state, said Michael Weber, an energy resources professor at the University of Texas at Austin. He told the Texas Tribune, gas is failing in the most spectacular fashion due to a shortage in the natural gas supply but record gas consumption. Gas lines were depressurizing, according to experts. If natural gas power plants can't get the pressure they need to operate, they have to shut down. Dan Woodfin, a senior director for ERCOT, told Bloomberg on Tuesday that natural gas pressure was a significant issue. But, he added, failures across all sources were partially to blame. We've had some issues with pretty much every kind of generating capacity in the course of this multi-day event. Natural gas power plants usually do not have very much fuel storage on site, experts. Instead, the plants rely on the constant flow of natural gas from pipelines that run across the state from areas like the Permian Basin in West Texas to major demand centers like Houston. In early February, Texas operators were producing about 24 billion cubic feet per day, according to an estimate by S&P Global. But on Monday, according to the Texas Tribune, production plummeted to between 12 and 17 billion cubic. Furthermore, systems that get gas from the earth are not properly built for operators in West Texas Permian Basin, one of the most productive oil fields in the world, are particularly struggling to bring natural gas to the surface, analysts said, as cold weather and snow close wells or cause power outages that prevent pumping the fossil fuels from the ground. Gathering lines freeze, and the wells get so cold that they can't produce, said Parker Fawcett, a natural gas analyst for S&P Global. And pumps use electricity, so they're not even able to lift that gas in liquid, because there is no power. On Tuesday evening, Texas Gas Service warned again that demand for natural gas is outpacing supply and urged customers on their website to conserve energy as it is going to take time for our suppliers to get their natural gas wells back on. The company provides gas to the El Paso, Austin and Rio Grande Valley areas of Texas and has more than 670,000 customers. The plea comes after a statement issued on Monday warning that its supply wells were freezing over in supply. They said not to expect a quick reintroduction of service. Once the system is operating again, we need to visit each home to check for leaks and re-establish gas service, the company warned. This makes the need for energy conservation even more important. Right-wing commentators were swift to blame renewable energy for Texas crisis, with Fox News' Tucker Carlson incorrectly claiming that Texas was totally reliant on windmills. ERCOT, however, said that wind turbines accounted for 23% of the state's electricity need, and only accounted for a limited loss of power. On Monday, frozen instruments and a limited gas supply forced 30,000 megawatts/h of power offline. ERCOT said that wind turbines accounted for less than 13% of the total generation that was lost on Monday, The main problem came from coal and gas. Much of the problem seemed to stem from a lack of preparation for winter conditions. Wind turbines, like natural gas plants, can be winterized or modified to operate during very low temperatures, and work well in Arctic. Experts say that many of Texas' power generators have not made those investments necessary to prevent disruptions to equipment since the state does not regularly experience extreme winter storms. Oil Texas produces roughly 4.6 million barrels of oil a day and is home to some of the nation's largest refineries, spread throughout the Gulf. In Midland, part of the U.S. Permian Shale region, temperatures were in the single digits Fahrenheit. Motiva Enterprises said it was shutting down its Port Arthur, Texas, manufacturing complex, which includes its refiner. Motiva's Port Arthur refinery produces more than 630,000 barrels of product per day, making it the largest refinery in the United States. Citgo Petroleum Corp said some units at its 167,500 barrel per day, BPD, Corpus Christi, Texas, refinery. Sources familiar with plant operations earlier said the crude distillation unit, a reformer and a hydrotreater were shut by cold weather at the refinery, with all other units also being. The cold snap also forced LyondellBasell's 263,776 BPD Houston refinery to operate at minimum production, and also shut most units at Marathon's 585,000 BPD Galveston Bay plant. But Exxon's 369,024 BPD Beaumont, Texas, refinery seemed to be operating at normal levels, although the company had warned nearby residents of flood. We are also getting reports of power outages across the Permian, which are expected to continue over the weekend if the current weather system. This may result in intermittent production shut-ins, with a moderate impact on Permian oil production expected in February, Rystad Energy's head of oil markets, Bjornar Tonhaugen, said in a note. Texas oil facilities were not alone in struggling. Energy distribution was stalled across large parts of the Kinder Morgan's natural gas pipeline company reported capacity constraints at various locations on its pipeline system, while Enable Gas Transmission announced it was taking measures to ensure adequate supply for customers. Oil pipeline operator Enbridge Incorporated on Monday said a 585,000 barrel per day crude oil pipeline that runs from its terminal near Pontiac, Illinois, outside of Chicago, to the largest oil storage hub in Cushing, Oklahoma, was halted because of power outages. Crews are working with electric utility providers to restore power to Line 59, as the pipeline is called, said Enbridge spokesman Michael. The power failure is due to the winter storm the U.S. is experiencing. Nuclear one of Texas' 2 nuclear power plants failed on Monday, the Wall Street Journal reported, adding to this, the problem was in one of the 2 units of the South Texas project, a nuclear power plant near the Gulf of Mexico. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission and the plant's operator said that the unit's water supply froze, causing 2 pumps. The plant usually produces enough to power 2 million homes. Coal it provides only 18% of Texas' energy needs, as the state has turned away from the source that is considered more polluting than some others, but coal also backfired in the frigid temperature. Coal facilities were said to have shut off because of extreme cold, the Wall Street Journal reported, with frozen piles of coal stored to feed power plants also were thought to have literally frozen over, making it impossible to generate electricity.